Welcome back to Sarah and Tech. I'm Sarah, and today I'm going to be interviewing Yousra. Yousra is a BSU student who's studying computer science. Is that right?
Yes.
What year are you in?
I'm in my second year in master's.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So you're almost done?
Yes, hopefully.
Are you writing a thesis?
I am writing, actually, at the moment, I'm writing the thesis proposal.
Mm-hmm.
Next semester, I will be writing my thesis and hopefully be done with my work.
Oh, wow. So they didn't spread it out with doing the lit review and then all that
I have done that in the summer, and then it's just time to write the proposal now and continue from where I have started.
Do you know how many pages it has to be or it normally is for your department?
Proposal?
Proposals I think are 5 pages, right?
No, they're actually from 10 to 15.
Oh, wow.
Or maybe more. Mine is currently with the figures. It's about 20 or something.
And do you know about how long your final thesis was going to be?
Sometime between February and March.
Mm-hmm.
It would be sometime. The defense would be sometime. And then the thesis should be proposed from before that.
So it your thesis ends up being over 100 pages, right?
I'm not sure, but I hope not. 100 pages are a lot. I'm not sure if I can write 100 pages. Yeah.
Mine was 120 and they told me it was short.
God.
They're you got off so easy, it was short. And I'm I'm out to Appendix K or something, guys.
Yeah.
I don't think this was short.
Yes, I'm not very good at writing, especially in English. It's not my first language, so I'm learning. Yeah.
Yeah. What is your first language?
Arabic.
And can I ask where you grew up?
Yeah, sure. I'm originally from Egypt, so we speak Arabic.
Yes. Yeah. And you have a very rich culture and heritage.
Yes, yeah, we do. Yes.
So how did you go from being born in Egypt to ending up in Boise, Idaho?
Yeah.
It was out of all the cool places you could pick, you picked Boise, Idaho?
Well, actually, I didn't actually pick. Okay, so long story short, I am a Fulbright awardee, and then which means I have a Fulbright scholarship to study masters in the United States. So this is basically why I am in the United States. For the part why I am in Boise, because I chose Boise State University to study my master's in. So this is why I am in Boise now. I love Boise, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I do love it.
It's a small, big town?
It's a big town. For me, I come from a very small town in Egypt, but a small, comfy kind of town. And then Boise is way much larger than where I come from, but still it has way less people than where I come from. So, and especially that I came last year during COVID, it was winter as well. So I could barely see any person on the street. I felt so lonely and where am I? Yeah, but it's getting better now. Yeah, but I like it actually because it's very calm and it's very people here are very sweet, and then it's peaceful.
It's very safe.
Yeah, and it's safe, of course.
For a town this size, we are very safe. You can go out at any time in the night and walk on the Greenbelt. It isn't we have the Greenbelt killer or anything running around.
Yeah, exactly. So these are the things, apart from the university itself and the department, and especially that there is an NLP. I do wanted to study NLP, and then I was mainly searching for universities that has NLP research group within their CS department. So yeah, Boise was my first choice actually.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
I didn't know our NLP group at BSU is that powerful, but it's headed up by Casey Covington.
Casey Kennington.
There we go.
He's my advisor, yeah.
He's very knowledgeable.
Yeah,
yes, he is.
Yeah, he's a nice person. I like working with him. He's understanding, and he has so much knowledge, and he's very cooperative, and I do like working with him. Yeah.
he, I think, was actually like in Egypt for a couple years while working on his PhD or right after his PhD too. And so he just recently came back to the United States within like the last 5 years.
Oh, I didn't know the part about Egypt. I do know that he has been abroad, but I'm not sure if he's...
Did I say Egypt? I think I meant to say Germany.
Yes. Yeah. This is what I know.
Yeah, sorry, wrong country. Yeah. Thinking about Egypt because you said you're from Egypt.
Yeah. Yeah, no problem.
So that's really cool. How did you get your interest in natural language processing or NLP?
So it was like I have a bachelor in electrical engineering with a minor in computer engineering, and then it was like very far away, not very, but like not very close to data science. But then like I thought that I was good at like technology in general. At least like I have an overview of things that I don't have a lot of information about. But then the thing with data science is that I just couldn't believe that applications are that smart. Like I cannot be convinced with the idea that they are like that smart and that lively. So if you talk to Siri or Alexa or something, like you can, for a moment, like you can actually feel like you're talking to another person. And that actually just irritated me that I don't know how they did that. Okay, so yeah, that mostly what got me interested in NLP. And then I had to, of course, learn about data science in general and then NLP. From where I come from, I as I said, I live in a very small town in Egypt. We didn't have the resources. Like I didn't have someone who had major studies in or PhD or something in NLP. And I did work as a TA for my university, so I'm like around by like PhD students and master students and stuff. But yeah, I didn't find someone to like people did their best, but like I did want to learn more. And then this is where I applied to the Fulbright scholarship.
Well, that's really cool that you got it, and that's definitely a really big accomplishment.
Yes, it is. I'm very lucky.
There's a lot of people that compete for it, is what I understand.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Why didn't you go for electrical engineering and continue that path that you were on, or is it just like you were so entranced with NLP?
Okay, so I did try to go on with the things that I already know. So I wanted to maybe continue studying or working in embedded systems, which is very close to my degree. And then like it wasn't easy to get better at embedded systems, especially that it needs some hardware tools and then probably a lab to like practice and test your equipment and make some cool stuff. And I didn't have access to that many tools. So I couldn't just go on with it knowing that these are my limits. So I shifted a bit to have a better opportunity. Yeah, it was like a kind of trade-off. Yeah, kind of.
Because you kind of, I mean, that I did that too. My bachelor's degree has nothing to do with my master's degree. So I totally get you. I was studying turtles, endangered turtles.
Oh.
And I'd put statistics on, all the biology experiments that you have to do.
Yeah.
And then I realized what the teacher was doing. I was like, there's probably a better way to do this. And I was researching stats, ended up applying for a master's in stats. And so I completely, changed gears and went from a background of like biology and turtles and mud to like sitting in a computer lab with, a desk and a mouse and keyboard. So I understand like sometimes it's like a 180.
Yeah. This is a career shift. Like mine doesn't even consider it as a career shift. It's just like a minor.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah.
So do you have any thoughts on GPT-3?
Yes. So if I can ask you, why are you specifically asking about GPT-3?
Just because I want to talk more about GPT-3, the possibility of GPT-4, and then the likelihood that GPT-5 is going to pass the Turing test.
Okay.
And so it would be completely like autonomous and aware of itself.
Uh-huh.
And so that's only 2 versions away from where we're currently at.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of just wanted to ask your opinion around that space.
Okay, so what I don't know much about GPT-3, but what I know is that like in my thesis field, I think I am using BERT. And then like I have, of course, did some literature review about what other alternatives we do have. And then GPT was one of them. So I do know that these language models have, they're doing good. BERT obviously is doing very good compared to others alternatives, but they do lack, they all are trained on text, which is like, when you think about it, like how can BERT do good on language understanding tasks when it's only knowledge is from text or corpus? Like how does it understand actually the meaning of like happiness or joy or
I mean, just like the inflection of a word changes the meaning of the word. Like saying okay versus okay. Like in our language, that's like, I'm okay, or okay, that's like a question mark. So I totally get that and see that. Also, written text is so much more formal in the way.
And then there are other stuff, like, for example, how does it understand the word red? Like, how can it actually, like, we know red. We know what's red because we've seen red. For a person who isn't capable of using his eyes for some reason, he doesn't know actually the meaning of red, except that we might describe that it's a color, and there is other colors that are yellow or green, or we can give it like a large bunch of examples, and then he can interfere somehow that these are related, like the red and yellow and green and blue, they are like in one category somehow. This is what BERT can learn, just that. It cannot go beyond that because it doesn't have the right input. So
but I mean, CNN, which are like the state of the art for a lot of visual data, also don't do color very well. So if you try to teach them different colors, it doesn't pick up on them very well. It picks up on pattern. So in general, most machine learning techniques just don't like learning color.
Yes, exactly.
If you will.
Yeah, but we can always aspire for a higher level of approximity, right? Like we can. This is basically why we are doing all of this. We're trying to get a higher level of approximate way of thinking or doing tasks that would, in my perspective, I don't think it would get like as high as we can perceive and deal with informations as humans, but it can, like, we are aspiring for it to get really close from what we can do. So like language model, okay, everything has its own limitations, but then if you added some kind of visual input to the textual input, then you would be able to learn to teach or make the language models learn more about, like, the meaning is not just from the corpus it has, it's like it's beyond that. And this is actually have been, like, people have been doing this for many language models. For example, like there is a pixel BERT that learns from pixels of image or maps pixel of image to corresponding text. And then there is one latest model that use Electra, which is a descendant of BERT, with another visual semantics model. It's called WAC, combining them both somehow to do the same task, which is like putting some visual semantics into text. And furthermore, there is some work done that makes emotions even emotional input into with text. And this would get us a step closer, I think. We're making like an application that actually can understand and can be adapted in tasks such as robotics.
Mm-hmm.
So for we like robots need to deal actually with people. They do have cameras or they do have a visual input. So why not? Like, why not make them interact in the way, like you cannot just put a BERT model with a robot. He wouldn't understand, like, what's that? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it's a really interesting field. Yeah.
Yeah. And robotics is its own, I mean, like Tesla cars, self-driving Tesla cars, some people feel like they'll never actually be self-driving.
Yeah.
Supposedly there's an update that's going to be released, like I think later this month, where it will be full self-driving. But from what you're saying, it feels like you don't think artificial intelligence is ever going to surpass human intelligence, or
No.
you don't think so?
No, I don't.
Okay.
Like, not all human intelligence. So to build a powerful machine, you would need someone who is as smart or more smart than the machine to actually build the model. Like the people, like if you write just a piece of code, you would know. You would know what it's doing. Yeah.
Hopefully, if you write the code, you might know what it's doing.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't think it will pass what human can do. Yeah.
Have you seen any of the new tools out? I can't remember the names, where it'll just like auto build the AI model or like auto build the code for you. It's just from plain English.
Yeah.
So you can literally just put in like, I'd like to make a weather app that's attached to like this other API and pull in these images, and it'll write like the Python code out for you from plain text.
Yeah, I have heard about them. I didn't actually check one out, but this must be very interesting. How does it work? Did you do it?
Yeah, I know someone who has it like right on their phone, and they just showed me like they did the voice to text on the phone, plain English text showed up doing that weather app example, and then it built the Python code, and then they were able to execute it on their phone to like make an app, and it was like in under 10 minutes.
Oh.
Yeah, and I was just like mildly afraid because I run a data science like department and stuff, or I manage people in data science, and I'm like, oh golly gee.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I would be afraid to my career. Yeah, kind of.
So
it's always pushing you to be better.
Yeah, you have to be better than these models that come out, or you have to know how to use them.
Exactly. Yeah.
So then you only need one person to do the work of 10 people, in theory.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Or we can just only have a 4-day work week with 4 hours a day. That would be
great.
Yes.
That would be great.
Be almost like we're being treated like humans or something. I don't know.
Yes, yeah. But the thing is, like, I do like my job. Like, I do like working with, I used to work with data, and I did like it, and I didn't like mind working long hours. So I'm not sure if that would be any different now. Yeah, I hope not.
So, I mean, like, I definitely get into flow and stuff. So, like, where you lose track of time in coding.
Exactly.
But after I had a kid, it's kind of hard to be in that flow state.
Yeah.
So that really was, like, the shift, like, because, I mean, I turned out like 15 publications in less than a year, and I turned out like a master's degree and all of that. And I did my bachelor's and my master's degree in 5.5 years, and all about like being super productive and getting a lot done. And then I had my daughter, and I was like, she sounds way more interesting with her like baby babble than some executives sound, unfortunately. Not to say I don't listen in meetings. But it's just, realigning of values, which is why I make jokes about like the 4-day work week. And it's shown that like you end up being more productive when, you don't have to be at the office 5 days a week, 8 hours a day. I think Japan is even doing a 4-day work week with like 6 hours a day now. I've heard about that. Yeah. And it increased productivity by 60%. So I'm not saying that we should work less, but it indicates that if we work less, our productivity goes up because we don't have to like.
Yes. So I kind of feel the same. Like whenever I have a lot of time, I don't actually accomplish that much. Like most likely I just like start thinking and then like thinking and then thinking like, and then I just find out that I just got off the actual problem and I started to think about some side problems that and then whenever I just have small amount of time, I be like very I concentrate a lot and then I don't get distracted that easily and I get the work done, which is like I like it. So maybe this is the reason behind like less working hours means more productivity. Maybe, yeah.
I mean, I found personally now with the way my life's set up is that when I'm not actively thinking about the problem, that's when the solution comes to me.
Yeah.
And then when I go back to work the next day, that's when I actually sit down and code out the solution.
Yeah.
And so when I guess it's my subconscious that's actually solving it and trying to actively engage the subconscious just it doesn't work sometimes.
Yeah. I like that, but this comes actually after a long time with the inputs to the problem. Like you have to spend some time actually to understand the problem. And I do like spend most of my time understanding the problem and absorbing in so much information about it. And then I think I take less time in processing what should we do for the problem. Then I take to read and like get some more information about what actually I'm doing. So yeah, and I do get the solution in showers.
Yeah, see? Yeah. When you're not actively trying to pursue it, that's when it just comes to you.
Exactly. Yeah.
So what do you see as the next step for you after you finish your master's?
That's a good question.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. It's a good question. I have like many roads for me. Yeah. I just want to explore more in what I'm still exploring what am I doing good. And then like it wouldn't be something new to me. Like I have shifted a time. Okay, so one time. So it wouldn't be that hard, but I want to do something with data science, of course. But what exactly in data science, I'm not that certain about it. Maybe like I love NLP. I do love NLP. And I hope after I finish my thesis, I would have much more information than that I do now. And it's like really interesting to me, especially that I'm a very goal-oriented person. So I like to see the output in front of my eyes. And this is something I couldn't do with hardware or embedded system because I couldn't get the whole functionality working. I didn't have all the tools to make it all work. So yeah, and like this is something that is possible, I think, in software engineering or data science. So yes, maybe NLP and definitely data science.
Do you think you're going to go for a PhD or go into industry or
okay, at the moment
go to a research firm or research lab?
So research is very like new to me. Okay. And at first like it needs some patience. And this is something that I needed to work on myself on because I don't have that much patience. I just need things solved and I solved them. And like I couldn't do that out of the moment with research. So, but as soon as I like got my head into the problem and I started reading more, which is something I like to do, I just came like profound about it. And like I could add to the solutions. Just like I wasn't at that stage when I first started. So I could just read and understand and like, yeah, this is good solution. And okay, this solved this. And just I could make the connections, but I couldn't actually propose like a solution for something, for a research question or a research problem. So I became very interested about it actually. But for PhD, I'm not sure if I have like a strong problem that needs a PhD to be solved, kinda. Yeah. So I think I might go for the industry first, or maybe a research company in the industry, and then like have like more information about what problems, like by interacting actually with problems, and then I might have a big or like an idea or a solution or a problem that I think I can solve through PhD. But it's definitely an option, yeah.
So a lot of professors, when you apply to get a PhD, I don't know if you've done this or what have you, but they have their own research areas and their own problems and their own funding.
Yeah.
And you kind of just join their lab and they mold you to solve those problems, depending on what research lab you join. Each professor runs their programs very differently. But that's kind of, usually you don't have a problem associated with like the individual student that goes with the student. That's kind of unique to do that. But going in, because I've gone into industry, I've also applied to like a PhD program and was going to do research and decided not to go with it. And I did have a problem that was associated with me and a whole project coming with me and funding coming with me. I decided not to do it. But I also did like the research lab working on nuclear research. And, you know, doing that, I learned a lot. And I definitely transitioned from being a statistician into being a data scientist because I became more interested in like the simulation style and away from like just the boring p-values, if you will. Yeah. But that being said, I used p-values in my day-to-day. And then, of course, I've done, like, consulting work in industry. But I would say if you're just getting out of, like, a master's or academia, that, like, probably go with, like, an academically leaning, like, research facility or stay in academia. I know it's a lot of fun, and it's really hard to do academia after you have a kid is the really big thing that I realized. Because I tried taking some PhD classes recently. And while working full-time while dealing with a 3-year-old.
How did that work?
I passed.
Okay.
I mean, more than passed, but
that's good.
Yeah, I don't recommend juggling that many things.
Yeah, you can do it.
Yes, but I mean, if you also run a meetup and a podcast and take a class, it just might be a little much. But I do recommend, like, even if you don't have a project, to apply to a PhD and just see who has similar research interests to you. I know I just cold called professors and told them what my research interest was, and then they would tell me whether or not I should apply to be considered, so that way you don't waste the application fee. Or even just sending them an email saying, hi, you know, here's my research interests, here's what my thesis is on, I'm interested in a PhD. If I wanted to be in your lab, do you recommend I make an application? And they'll respond to either like yes, or they'll ignore you. I mean, if they ignore you, obviously don't apply to them because they're not worth your time. But I mean, I definitely had quite a few people that responded to my cold contacts or ask Dr. Kennington who he recommends, because he might even have someone he can refer you to, even if you don't have like, here's my problem I want to solve on my PhD, because they will definitely like shape you and mold you. The one thing I would recommend is not to do it at the same institution as your master's. Because usually like the whole idea is that a whole program at a university is kind of like thinks the same way. So like for stats, the program I was in was applied. And if I went to another university, I should have gone to like a more theory-based university. That's contrasting with what I was to become stronger at what I do. So those are like my little bits of advice if you want to stay in academia or go into like research industry.
The tempting thing though, this is a very good advice, thank you. The tempting thing is that PhD in the US is of a much easier process than in other countries.
Really? To apply and be accepted, or to get it?
To actually apply apply
Mm-hmm.
and get it.
Oh, okay.
So, like, yes, you can apply to almost every university, but in other like in here, I think that when you apply, like from what I know, when you apply, you don't need the approval. Like with the application, you can apply anyway without the approval, without the approval of one of the faculty staff to be your advisor.
But then you might be wasting application fees and stuff like that.
Yes, yeah. But in other countries, that is not just applicable. Before applying, you need to have an advisor.
Mm-hmm.
And you would even apply. When you apply, you would need to submit a research proposal that is very specific about, like not very specific, but specific to some point about what you will be working on, and like something like the thesis proposal I'm submitting now for master's. So after working like for a month in the summer, for the 3 months. So
I mean, I guess it's nice in the way, like, if you apply to a program in the United States, someone who has more experience is picking the research problems and gives you guidance.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone usually underneath them, like all of the students underneath them, are being guided and doing similar research to one another. So that's nice. But usually if you apply to a school and you don't have someone that's willing to advocate for your application, you're not going to get past.
Yeah. So at first, like, you need to contact the advisor that you think like your research would map with his area of interest, and then he would either accept you or not, and then you can apply and add him as your advisor. Yeah.
So usually I would just call the professors up.
Yeah, but you would need to have a research proposal.
Well, yes, if you're outside the United States.
Yes.
But in the United States,
yeah,
I would be like, hey, I'm really interested in insects. I see you do insects. I studied Coleoptera.
Exactly.
You know, and
yeah, and this is as I was saying, that this is tempting to have a PhD here because it's like very much easier, especially if you don't have a research problem to work on that you actually need how to tackle at least the first parts of it. So like it's easier to apply here than in other countries.
I mean, I hear everyone in Europe has like a master's degree. It's like, are you alive and breathing? Congratulations, you probably have like a master's.
Yeah.
So
masters in Europe are very much easier than here. Like they are just 9 months or a year even.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. And they like some of them don't have even to do research at all.
I mean, we have programs, I guess, like that.
Mm-hmm. They do have the research-based masters as well. These are 2 years maybe, or a year and a half or something. Yeah, I did a lot of stuff.
So you're much more like well-versed in what country. So if you did go get a PhD, what country would you go to?
U.S.
Oh, you would stay in the U.S.?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's so much like easier to get started, at least at the start. And then you would get involved more and you would work, like you would have your head in the problem more, and then you would be able to go on from there. But you would need the first push. So I think it's easier here than in other places where you just need to come up with something to be your research topic for the next 3 to 4, 5 years.
Hopefully it's only 4, max 5 years to get a PhD, especially when you start with a master's.
Yeah, hopefully.
My major professor would be like, it should only take you 3 years, Sarah. And I'd be like, yes, Bauman.
Yeah.
Whatever you say, Bauman. Of course, it will only take me 3 years.
Yes. Yeah, I hope so. Yeah, I hope. Yeah.
But my major professor was a little bit of a slave driver. He was known for it. Like, none of his students ever fell behind on any of their deadlines, ever.
Okay. Yeah. That's good to know. That's a good thing.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
I was his second to the last student, and he was still relentless. Like, he was like 3 years away from retirement, and he was still like,
oh,
everything is going to be on time for you. And I'm like, yes.
Yeah. it's good. It's hard though.
Yes.
Yeah, it does makes you like a better person, I think, after all of this done.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever I have now, I just think about the moment it would like end, and then like how much I would have in my personality and in my knowledge out of this. So I like it. It calms me somehow. Yeah.
I mean, when you're going through it, it feels really overwhelming because the amount of new information.
Yeah.
But
New skills too.
Yeah, and the amount of new skills. But now, like, looking back on it, like, I apply, like, part of my thesis just, like, in a regular workday and think nothing of it. So it was a very great experience for me. Like, of course, you're just going to throw PCA on that and be able to read the output crazy good because you spent 2 years on it, I would hope.
Yeah.
So it definitely changes you in, like, a good way. And you become so much better at writing, like, technical writing anyway.
Yes. Yeah. And a lot of skills, actually. Like, the whole experience for me, so, like, my English is becoming better, I hope.
Yes, yes, it is. I think we've talked previously, and I feel like it has gotten a lot better.
Yeah, thank you. And like my writing skills, it's still bad, but I'm getting somewhere. Like, yeah, slightly better.
Do they have a writing center at BSU?
They do.
Okay.
Yeah.
I use the writing center.
Yeah.
When I was going to.
Yes, I will definitely use it. Like, I know that I need it now. I know.
I mean, English is my first language, but I still used it. So, yeah.
Like the other day, I saw this application that you give it just the keywords and it would write an article for you. Yeah, the problem that it was in Arabic, so I cannot use it for my English writing. So yeah, but it's like really interesting. I could use something like that, and like I can of course do a lot of edits, but at least I would have like a base, and then I can build over it, which is interesting.
Because I mean, couldn't you do that and then translate to English and then edit? Or I mean, I don't know how the syntax and the structure of the
like the Google Translate is very smart. Yeah.
I mean, I use transformers, so
yeah, so it's really smart, but it's not like perfect, of course. Yeah, so you would need to do like another work just for that translation, apart from the work that you would do for editing the article itself. Yeah.
But that sounds really interesting. I know with GPT-3, I have a friend who has access to it, and we took like a really complex quantum paper, and it summarized it down into like 3 sentences that like a 5-year-old could understand.
Oh.
And it actually was like interestingly like on target with what it was saying. Like, so, you know, the summarization is like there are these particles and they move fast, and I mean, there's a little bit more to it, but I was really surprised that GPT-3 could handle like a quantum like journal article and distill it down into like 2 or 3 sentences.
Yeah, that's very interesting.
So there's a lot of applications out there, and I can only imagine how it's just going to get more powerful.
Yeah, definitely. Is it outperforming Bird though?
I don't know because the applications for GPT-3 are just so wide ranging. Like it even does voice to text.
Oh.
I know that one of the voice to text companies out there that is really good, possibly named Rev,
Yeah.
that I work for.
Okay. Yeah.
And they're using GPT-3 as part of their process for voice to text. Probably to check the syntax. I'm not actually on that side of the house doing it, but I thought it was interesting that it is part of the voice to text like schema that they're doing. And so and GPT-3 can be used to like summarize articles, be part of chatbots. It isn't just this like one isolated you know.
I think Bird can be too. Like it's like the way Bird works, it's taken 2 sequences and mapping them. So like it has been applied to machine translation, and then it works. And machine translation basically is some data and some other data that it's not like this data. Both of them are text, like they are encoded maybe in the same way, but they're not the same data. And then, or even close, like not even the same letters and like very different. And it maps them together. So maybe the speech to text would be the same, like the same training process, I think. Like, I'm not sure, but yeah, can be.
So NLP is not my specialty. Okay. Time series analysis is my thing, I guess.
Yeah.
So, but that I always find that space like really interesting. And
yeah.
When will things actually pass the Turing test and surpass human intelligence? Because I don't know, there's no way I've read like over 200,000 journal articles and all of that, if you will. So, I mean, at least in that sense, it's more intelligent than
yes. I am. Yeah. Yeah. They like computers can be intelligent in their own perspective or own definition of the word intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
So we know that they can do a lot more in the same amount of time that we can do. They can save a lot of information that we can do. And then if we're going to test them according to this, of course, they would outperform other humans. But then it's not the only definition of intelligence. So, yeah, that's the thing.
I think the weirdest thing I found recently is there are genetic markers for personality traits now.
Okay.
And I like did it on myself. And it was actually kind of accurate.
Oh.
And it was like really weirded out. Like, of course, like, oh yeah, you have carb cravings. Like, okay, yeah, what girl doesn't? But when it's like, you're very thoughtful and very emotional, I was like, and then it starts even getting even more like accurate. And so it's really weird. It's like, here are your 36 personality traits according to your genome. And I'm like, this is just weird.
Okay. And what's the statistics about that though?
I mean, they have white papers that back it up, but I haven't delved too deeply into it other than seeing that like most of them felt correct.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, they felt more correct than like the zodiac. Like, like you're a Gemini. Today will be a great day for you. It's like, okay. So, I mean, I kind of took it at that level and I didn't read the white papers, but I thought it was an interesting idea.
Yes.
So that's definitely. Like whole like nature versus nurture.
Exactly. And it would change the whole our perspective of that. You learn, you're not born with this, you just learn it over time. So this says the exact opposite, that you are born with it. And it's like, it's in your system. So that's interesting. Yeah.
And so it's not very clear where one starts and one stops all the time for different individuals. So
yeah.
I always find that fascinating. Just these things that we can't like truly measure.
Yeah.
Well, ethically measure anyway.
Yes.
But we've been talking for quite some time. Do you have any wrap up ideas that you wanted to share that we didn't hit on?
I'm not sure. Yeah, maybe just one idea. I'm just like part of me. I love technology, of course. I think I was born like that. It was natural to me, and then it just like I had no other. It's kind of that I didn't have any other choice beside joining technology because I did like it and I was very good at it at first. It was very much easier for me. But then I kept spending some time during my my undergrad studies that I wanted to promote technology, not because you are good or bad at it, but because that it would make your life much, much better. And it would open a lot of opportunities to you, especially like women, especially for women. Because like I hear it all the time that like a woman is in a situation that she has to support for herself and her family, and when she doesn't have the right tools to do that, she would end up doing something very hard and very with the least amount of money, and that would be like I just feel like sad that not everyone have the opportunity to at least interact with technology. Just know it, learn it, and then like that, save it for later some kind. Like it's becoming a necessity somehow. And this is something that encourages me actually to just spread, like whenever and wherever, and like for every tech person or someone who works at tech, he just should talk about it with anyone that he can interact with, like from your kids, your neighbors, your community, and then much more. It like the circle goes much more than that, and that it would make life change, and it would like make get better opportunities for people, and especially that like where I come from, it doesn't need a seed money. Like you don't need seed money to learn technology aside from maybe internet and a computer, which is not available for every person. But like with the research, I think they can find an alternative, and they can find someone or something that can help them with that. But they need to, like we need to expand our passion about technology to make it other people's passion as well. Because like you're just like you can have an opportunity to change other people's lives with that. And this is actually something that motivates me. So like whenever I'm everywhere actually, like I like to talk to people normally, and then like I would like put this inside the topic somehow. I would ask them, and I would tell them that they can do this, and this is might be a good solution to a problem they just told me about. And like whatever it is, actually, like it depends more on the situation itself. But yeah, I think that anyone who has the gift, I consider it as a gift to be able to love technology, and that you had the resources to be better at it. You would need to do something more beyond getting yourself better, and like expanding this to actually introducing other people to it, or helping others to become also better at it. Yeah, I just like I think that's necessary for like for a future, for a better future for the world actually. Yeah.
I mean, one of the reasons I do Sarah in tech is because the people that come on here have non-traditional backgrounds. So one of the people that was like a senior solutions architect entered into it like in his mid like 30s. He's now in his 40s, or and so he didn't have the bachelor's and the master's to like set him up into it. And a lot of people, some people do have that, like from the age of like 8 or 9, they have access to internet and the computers and support from family. But that, if you don't have that, that shouldn't deter you from entering into it. I know I regularly deal with the fact that I am a woman, and that's generally a derogatory thing in a tech workplace. And I am usually the only woman in the technological workplace that I'm in, and people are very rude to me, and I kind of just have to bear it. And as I get older, I realize that they have insecurities because a woman is doing their job, and it's not my fault, and I shouldn't feel bad.
Yeah, definitely, yes.
And a lot of, we have to talk about technology. It's not going away. It's only becoming more prevalent.
Yeah.
You can't shun the use of a computer or, programming and stuff like that. Even simple things as cleaning out your recycle bin on your computer or what have you, or putting the files back if you accidentally deleted too many things. You can just get a script to run it for you, and it's a lot more quick than manually putting everything back.
Yes, yeah. I like that a lot. Yeah.
So, I mean, I totally agree with you that technology isn't going away, and people should become more aware of it and bring it into their lives and not shun it.
Yes, yeah. And it's part of our responsibility, I think, to take some role in that process. Yeah, we as a side work, maybe.
Well, no one pays me for my podcast or for running a meetup, so I totally am all about spreading the gospel of data science or technology or what have you. Most of the people that actually come on my podcast aren't data scientists. So obviously I have a tendency towards data scientists because I can understand what they're saying, but Travis probably can't. But that's okay. And probably other people can't as well. But I really appreciate you coming on and talking about your experiences, and good luck with your master's.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm happy to be here, actually.
Thanks for listening to Sarah in Tech. Feel free to email me at sarah@sarahintech.net or follow me on Instagram at sarahintech. Hope you enjoyed listening.